4 ways to stack your Bitcoin faster. At the end of the day, you've got to understand that this is a race. There's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin. And for now, people aren't awake, but people are going to understand what Bitcoin is. And if you don't hurry up, I have a fear that there will be people missing out on this amazing opportunity. So these are 4 methods which I'm personally using to be able to get Bitcoin at a faster rate and be able to take control of this amazing opportunity. The first one is to sell all your other assets. And I mean this, you've got to consider all assets that you've got available. Apart from gold and silver, I want you to consider a balance sheet of all the assets you have available. Real estate, treasury bills, stocks, and consider how is that really going compared to Bitcoin. Is it really performing that well? Any spare cash or anything you have on the side, you should be pumping into Bitcoin. And to give you an idea about how important this is, I want to show you a graph. This is the real estate to gold ratio. This basically looks at how real estate has been performing compared to gold. And if we go back, I guess, to that 1971 period, which was when the wood system was rejected, now our currency has gone into a free fall period. You can see that basically real estate hasn't performed that well. It's gone backwards ever since, and it's gone well down to now 173.78 as a current ratio. What that means is most US based assets are not performing that well. And I know what else you're hearing. You're hearing stocks are at an all-time high as well, but what you've got to understand is where stocks are at in their cycle. This is the price to earnings ratio, which tells you basically how overvalued or undervalued the stock is compared to their earnings. We can see that the graph shows that stocks are cyclical in nature. They cycle up and down. Their prices go up and they go down. They peak and then they drop. Right now, we're at our peak. It's at about 25.25, which basically means stocks are considered to be overvalued, as you can see here. So when it's overvalued, it needs some form of correction, and that's what's going to be happening with stocks. So go through your assets, make a sheet, see what you've got, and try and shuffle it in to buy sats. A side note also, do some spring cleaning, go through your stuff, see what you've got in your house, any extra books or any spare things that you don't need, and sell it to buy Bitcoin. This is something that Michael Saylor's been pushing for, and a lot of other people are saying as well. Get yourself stuff, put it away, get yourself sorted, and push it into Bitcoin. The second one is to create a leverage position in Bitcoin. Now, about 30% of my Bitcoin fund is in leverage, where I'm investing in the Bitcoin's future market, and the money that I put in is 10x leverage, meaning for every dollar that I put in, an extra $10 is put in. It's got more risk and a lot more reward. But a lot of people really don't like this, and they don't understand how leverage works. But I want you to think about it like this. How did your parents be able to afford a house? They had a down payment of about 10%, and then the rest they mortgaged. And that's how they were able to afford their house and actually be able to build their wealth growing up. The same thing is going to be happening with Bitcoin. That's why I have a leverage position. And what I do is I do a flywheel effect where when Bitcoin goes on a bull run, which it did from 115K to about 123K, I have a leverage position where I'm getting increased profits from that. And once it comes back down, I have a stop loss in position, and I take my profits and I push it back into my Bitcoin wallet when the prices have dropped again. Explain it to you simply, here's a video and it's a tutorial. I'll put a link in the description below so you can understand how leverage trading working. On the left is how you classically invest in the spot market for Bitcoin. It's basically how your wallet functions. For every dollar you put in, and it goes up by the same amount. You put in $1,000, it goes up $50 and you've made 5%. That's the normal way. While if you invest in the futures market, what's basically happening is your gains and your losses are increasing by a leveraged amount. So instead of getting that 5% increase, and if you've got a 5x leverage, you're basically getting a 25% increase. Now, it has risk and it has reward. So understand how to leverage and understand the risks that are involved. Me personally, some tips that I use is I build up my leverage slowly over time as I go away from my collateral, and I go from 2x, 5x, then 10x on my leverage once I'm safe and I've taken enough of the bull run. Don't be too greedy. Take profits and have stop losses in place, which is basically where when the price falls a certain amount, it liquidates your position and you are out in terms of your leverage position and you've taken your profits. Third method is the tried and trust method. It is dollar cost averaging, the complete opposite of leverage, and it's something which I also do. So about 30%, as I said, of my position is in that leverage position. The other 70%, I'm dollar cost averaging. I'm continuing to put X amount per week into Bitcoin, whether it rises or falls, I do not care. I want to take every bit of Bitcoin that I can per week. And people are starting to understand why it works, because at the end of the day, Bitcoin is an extra volatile asset. And by dollar cost averaging and just being patient, you're taking the volatility out of it. When it goes down, that's okay. You're taking it on the cheaper side. And when it goes up, you're taking it at that point too. And by dollar cost averaging for 5-10 years and continuing to put $50, $5, $100 per just one coffee per week. If you put that into Bitcoin and just let this thing run over time for the next 5-10 years, think about how far that can go. These days you can use softwares, and I use SwiftX to be able to invest weekly. Link in the description below for Australians who want to invest in that, and you'll be able to get $10 Bitcoin for free. As well as that, there's also Strike, Bitcoin Well, ShakePay, River, and Cash App. And these are all tools that you can use to be able to invest regularly. And sometimes what they also will do is when you spend a certain amount, let's say you spend $28.50, it rounds it up to the nearest $10 and it takes the change and puts it into Bitcoin. That's another kind of method of dollar cost averaging, where the money you spend, it gets rounded up a small amount and put into Bitcoin. So if you're not dollar cost averaging right now, I do believe truly you're missing out on the gains of Bitcoin. This is probably the first method you should be doing, and doing this regularly to be able to gain the run in Bitcoin and keep your money out of that fiat crappy currency. And the fourth one is build a business. Now, I know people are going to sigh. They're going to be like, oh, seriously, build a business? That's crap. But I want you to think about this now on a longer term scale. If you could speak about your passion every day for the rest of your life, would you do it like I'm doing right now? Think about how fun it would be if you could just speak about your passion and your expertise in front of people. Now, I know today there is AI, but people at the end of the day are built to consume content. And that's what they love. They love to hear from other people and see how things are going. And what I believe is the best business model today is to be able to build an audience and take them to some kind of community where people come together on a certain passion and interest. And this is done through Alex Hormozi on this platform called School. To show you School quickly, basically you can make a community on any passion or anything you like, and people pay to join your community and hear about what you love and what you enjoy. You can see all the different sections: hobbies, music, money, spirituality, tech, health, sport, and self-improvement. You name it, it's there. And it's really simple to build a community. I'll let Alex Hormozi talk about it now.
So let me introduce you to the simplest business model in the entire world. Step 1, you get traffic. Step 2, you send traffic to your about page. Step 3, you have a community that people like and tell their friends about.
Now, in terms of how this affects your Bitcoin stack, what it means is that by having a regular monthly income coming in, it only accelerates your Bitcoin stack more. So if you love investing and talking about investing like me, I encourage you to build a YouTube channel like me and build a following and be able to help people. That's what I love doing. And I think if you really enjoy something, why not do it? And over the next 2 years, I believe, if you invest your time into it, you can build a following and build a business. By the way, if you love my channel and if you like what I'm doing, please subscribe and like. Eventually, I'm going to be building my own community and helping you guys be able to invest in Bitcoin, gold, and silver. So if you like what I'm doing and if you want me to eventually build a community of my own down the line, I'd really appreciate if you support this channel. These are the 4 methods which I'm using to accelerate my stack in Bitcoin. I truly believe this is going to help you down the line, and I hope you enjoyed this video.